Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. In this Second Life video, I wanted to talk about something a little different, and that is mental health and wellness, particularly around the holidays and Christmas season. I should preface this by saying that I'm not a doctor or a trained medical health professional. However, I am somebody who is very committed to my own personal development. I've done a lot of research around the area of mental health, and I can offer my own experiences and advice for how I aim to keep mentally healthy both in and out of Second Life. Like many others, for me this year has been quite challenging and definitely a time of deep reflection, and I've been very aware of how mental health issues can creep in without realizing. I'm the type of person where I'm usually pretty upbeat and positive, but there are times when I really feel the opposite of that and struggle with anxiety, sometimes panic attacks, and sometimes just not feeling very motivated and optimistic within myself. Christmas seems to be a time when there's a real spotlight on needing to be happy, festive, and everything has to be perfect and sparkly, but for many people, including myself, it can be a difficult time for many different reasons. In my situation, I have a bit of a dysfunctional family. There's a lot of conflict, drama, and huge difference in opinions, and I don't really feel at peace when I'm around them. I have my own apartment and live alone in London, so it can be quite taxing and exhausting to go from that comfort bubble and then spend a concentrated amount of time with certain family members when it feels like a toxic environment. So whether it's family, work, or relationships that you may be having issues with, hopefully applying some of these tips will help boost your mental health during the Christmas holiday and throughout 2021. My first piece of advice, which applies to both Second Life and real life, is to build and preserve better boundaries. Having healthy boundaries means knowing and understanding what your limits are. It's important to consider what you can tolerate and accept and what makes you feel stressed or uncomfortable. I believe that you need to keep your own cup full before filling the cups of others. So there is absolutely no shame in taking time out to focus on your own needs. I am all about self-care and setting clear boundaries in my life so that I can prioritize what makes me happy. Ultimately, if I'm feeling good within myself, then I'm in a stronger position to give back and be of service to others. My next piece of advice is to avoid unhelpful social comparisons. I think it's a very human tendency to compare ourselves to others, and that can be okay in moderation, but more than often it can become a self-limiting habit which reduces our capabilities. It takes up a lot of mental energy and keeps you focused on what you don't like about yourself rather than celebrating your strengths and achievements. I often need to remind myself that I am on my own unique path, and that's exactly where I'm supposed to be. Limiting social media is really key for me. I have a real life Instagram account, and I can find myself mindlessly scrolling through pictures and feeling like everybody is living their best lives. The problem, as we all know, is that it's a filtered, constructed lens. It's all of the good times and rarely the real moments of our lives when we're struggling or going through tough emotions. I try to be very conscious and mindful of what messages and media I'm consuming, whether that's online or offline, and knowing that I largely have the control to switch that on or off. If it's making you feel inadequate or frustrated, have a digital detox. I often do it and feel so much more energized and autonomous when I return to it. I love this simple quote, "What you feed your mind determines your appetite," and that is so relevant for me. I also try to reframe my viewpoint from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, meaning that we're all capable of learning and experiencing greater things in our lives, but we have to have the right attitude to move towards that and not be held back by fear of failure. That leads me on to Second Life. As you may know, I recently rejoined Second Life after 10 years. When I started, I was pretty young. I was 17 at the time. I was studying and I used it more as a distraction, whereas now I see it more as a hobby and also a way of building connections with people that I probably would never have met in real life. I think it's important to have a purpose with what you want to do in Second Life, otherwise it's easy to get lost and overwhelmed in virtual spaces, and that can actually trigger mental health issues. Whether it's social, exploration, creating, photography, Second Life can really enhance those areas of your life. So give yourself permission to challenge yourself creatively and socially, but keep things in perspective and don't neglect your real life. Just like any online environment, Second Life can also be a negative space. Given that people can hide behind their avatars, you may come across troubled individuals who want to project their issues onto others. And honestly, my simple advice here is to follow your intuition and listen to those red flags. If something feels off early on, it probably is. Remove yourself from that person or situation. Use the block button if needed. Just don't feed any of the drama, and just remember that for every bad egg, there are hundreds of genuine and decent people out there. In Second Life, if you are looking for like-minded people or friends, there are different Discord groups that you can join. I recently joined a couple, and that can be a good way of becoming part of a wider community with similar interests. My next piece of advice for staying mentally healthy outside of Second Life is to move, eat, and rest. Guys, I am the worst for staring at my screen too much, whether that's my computer or phone. At the moment, it's even more amplified because I work from home, and most of my day I'm either doing work on the computer or I'm in virtual meetings. It's easy for time to slip away and then realize that I haven't been moving much throughout the day. For me, fitness is a non-negotiable value of mine. Even with gyms being closed recently, I make sure that I do home HIIT workouts almost every day. I aim to run outside a few times a week, and I also have a power yoga practice every morning. Doing intense workouts isn't for everybody, I completely understand that, but there are always low impact alternatives available. I'm a strong believer that some form of aerobic exercise is one of the most important contributors to staying mentally healthy. When I'm feeling stuck or in a negative cycle of thoughts, it's usually because I've either been neglecting my exercise, good nutrition, or quality sleep. When I have those in check, things tend to flow better for me. If the gym isn't for you, there's a ton of free fitness online resources that I'd recommend, which are also great if you're short on time. Some of my favourites include these that are on the screen now. I'll put links in the description. Finally, meditation has also been a game changer for my mental health. I'm not great at meditating for longer than 15 minutes, but even that short amount of time brings huge benefits to me. It really helps me to gain a better perspective on stressful situations, increase my self-awareness, and live more in the present moment rather than ruminating on the past or worrying about the future. There's lots of different types of meditation, and I really recommend an app called Insight Timer. On there you can find thousands of free meditations from teachers all across the world. You can also do different courses which are more educational and help in different areas, whether it's breaking free from limiting beliefs or building better psychological habits for peak performance. In addition to that, there are groups and forums such as a daily gratitude group where people post things that they're grateful for each day. It really never fails to help me keep things in perspective and reminds me that we're much more connected by our similarities than our differences. Guys, if anyone is feeling particularly down with their mental health, make sure that you reach out to somebody. When you're struggling, it's not good to spend too much time alone, especially if you're feeling low and vulnerable. It's at times like these when you need to be able to talk to someone. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Opening up for the first time can be the hardest part, but it becomes easier after that. I'll probably do some more videos around this subject in the future, and I'd love to hear your thoughts around that. Check out some of the links in the description below, and feel free to comment and let me know how you manage your mental health. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Until next time, take care and see you soon.